connection. As I mentioned earlier on, we got an email this afternoon from the organiser of another Kucha night in a different city right across the world, and we managed to squeeze him in tonight. So Tobias, please come on stage. He's going to show you how he does it in Germany, and I hope you enjoy his talk, and maybe one day when you travel you'll look up a Kucha night in the city that you're visiting and go down and say, I've been to one in Christchurch and this is how we do it.
Thank you very much. So, as you guys hear, we in Germany, at least in Erlangen and in a few other cities, we don't say Pecha because it's so hard to pronounce and it's so hard to tell other people where you were. Like, I was at Pecha. Some people really have trouble. I've seen that with Pecha Kucha. In Germany, we pronounce it Pecha Kucha. And that might be a bit of my Swabian accent coming through there. So it's great to be here. It's great that I got squeezed in. We literally flew in last night from Australia on a trip around the world, my wife and me. And we've been to Pecha Kucha, Bangkok. So it's great to be in Pecha Kucha Christchurch today and actually present. And I won't bother you anymore with any more pre-talk. We'll just get to it. Today I would like to talk to you about the feeling that this person on the image is obviously having right now. I'm going to talk about the signs of happiness. And happiness is a very interesting topic once you start digging it in. I actually spent a couple of years back, to look into it and learn about it. A lot of us try to find happiness, but we don't really know how to go about it, like this guy here in the suit. So today I'm going to talk to you about what options there are and where they're from. When you start looking at happiness, this is one guy that you actually run into pretty quickly. This is Martin Seligman. He was the head of the American Psychology Association a while back, and he declared positive psychology, finding out what works and what makes you happy instead of just treating diseases, the topic of his tenure. And what you also run into is the famous Dilbert inventor and writer, Scott Adams, who pretty much summed it up with happiness equals health, money, social life, and meaning. And he's very, very close to what science says. When you look at it scientifically, and a lot of people have done that, I've looked quite a bit into it, you will find out that there are a few surprises that you wouldn't expect, actually, how happiness works. One thing that came as a bit of a surprise to me at least, is that the DNA is very important. It has positive aspects, also negative aspects, but there's something genetic that kind of brings your basic level of happiness. And we'll see in the next slide how you can actually add to that. The genetic part is called the set point, and it makes up basically 50% of your happiness level. The bad circumstances that we all always quote as being the problem make up a mere 10% if you look at it scientifically. What you actually can influence is a whole 40%. And obviously now the question is, how do you do that? How can you work on those 40% of your happiness level to improve? And we'll start out with a rather simple one, and that's, please, don't compare. Because whenever you compare yourself to anybody, you will always find somebody who's better off. So there's just no point in it. There's always somebody who has more money, who has the sexier partner, who has it better in life, whatever. So it just makes you unhappy to do that. What is very important in contrast is to take care of your social life, to take care of your friends. It's scientifically proven that the more friends, and especially the happier your friends are, you yourself will also be. Another aspect that's very important is sports. Doing sports actually works like a mild antidepressant, and this is proven. So it basically helps you have less anxiety and makes you more happy. Still, of course, you have to really get going, which I myself struggle with also. But here's an exercise that, aside from self-discipline, requires nothing else. It's called the gratitude diary. And this is actually one of the strongest and most proven aspects of how you can improve on your happiness. It's basically, the idea is you write down 5 things that make you happy every day. Ideally by hand, because that works better, puts it better in your brain. And this increases, it's scientifically proven, your overall happiness level up from the baseline that your genetics create. What's not so important is actually money. Money is important to a certain degree, of course, if you are in an existential need, but after a certain level is achieved, it basically just gives you a short bump. Like you have your baseline, you get a raise, you have a bit of a bump, that wears off in 3 months, and you have to get another raise in order to get happy by money or win in the lottery. So what you should do with money is use it for something that creates so-called peak experiences, something that you can relive for a long time. That's what I'm right now doing with my wife. So far it's been pretty good. And the question is, should we really be in the rat race so much as most of us are? Because you basically, you run, you don't really live, you miss a lot of experiences that you would really enjoy. So the question is, shouldn't you just pull back and think about what is it that actually means something to you, that makes you happy, that improves your life, something that you can actually really live on. Of course, you shouldn't think about that in the working hours, because that's work. But another part is to have goals. It's not about achieving them, it's about having them. Achieving a goal is pretty much like getting a race. You get a bump and you go down again. But having goals actually brings you some meaning to your life. And for me, that was back in the days when this talk first was drafted, creating Pecha back in 2011 in Erlangen, where it didn't exist before. And that's also what I want to close with. I wish you all the best on your journey to happiness, and want to close with a quote by Plato, who did a couple of thousand years ago. People are happy when they have what is good for them. I don't remember it in English, sorry. So, basically in German it's die Leute sind glücklich, wenn sie haben, was gut für sie ist. Yeah. So, I hope that Pecha is good for you, and that you enjoy the rest of the talks tonight, and wish you all the best with your journey to happiness. Thank you very much.